welcome and appreciation. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I would now request our conference convener, Dr. Ramji, to kindly felicitate our campus dean, Dr. Jean Paulos, with a sapling as a symbol of respect and gratitude. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Our Vice Chancellor, Father Dr. Joe Sisi, and our Pro Vice Chancellor, Father Dr. Viju PD, they couldn't be with us in person today, but they have conveyed their heartfelt blessings and best wishes for the success of the International Conference 2025. They continue to inspire and guide us in our pursuit of academic excellence and meaningful impact. It is now my privilege and honor to invite Dr. Jean Paulos, our campus dean, Christ deemed to be University Delhi NCR, to deliver the inaugural address and set the stage for the insightful dialogues and deliberations that await us. May I request you, ma'am, please.
Good morning, distinguished guests on the dais and off the dais, respected colleagues, partners, and my dear Christites. Handing over a mic to a politician and a teacher, extremely dangerous. But somehow we never seem to learn, and we keep repeating the same mistake. So here we go. It is indeed my great pleasure and honor to welcome you all to this very timely and vital gathering, the second international conference on the theme, Building Resilient Business with Sustainable Value. To the distinguished guests and the participants of this conference present here, thank you and welcome for being here, for bringing your expertise, your experiences, and above all, your shared commitment to this cause of shaping a more resilient, equitable, and sustainable future for business and society. And I said that we meet at a very pivotal moment because of various reasons. Look around us. Look what COVID did to us. In fact, when we were in the room a little while earlier, waiting for the program to begin, and we were having a discussion, we said it is difficult to have a conversation where the term COVID doesn't creep in. And why we speak about it is because it disrupted many businesses, but it also created opportunities for several more businesses. And this is when we saw many organizations display what we are discussing in this conference, which is resilience. We are also looking at a time when I look at the world leaders playing tariff, it reminds me of watching children playing in a park. You hit me once, I'll hit you twice, right? So when the Trumps and the leaders of the world are playing this tariff war, it is creating a great deal of geopolitical instability around the world. When you look at world nations who are supposed to be mature and benevolent, to be able to think in the larger interest of the society, fighting wars for a piece of land or for resources, it makes you wonder as to what are the times that we are living in. Having said that, these challenges have exposed the fragility of many business models, but as I said, they have also revealed many opportunities to reimagine how we create value, not just short-term profits, but for long-term sustainable value that uplifts communities, protects our planet, and ensures prosperity for future generations. We have seen organizations like 3M. When I was working on a pet project of mine on an edited volume on analytics-enabled decision-making, while doing the research, I came across a lot of data on 3M. While many organizations did well during COVID or did very badly during COVID, the one name that stood out was 3M. How many of you are familiar with the name 3M? What is the first word that comes to your mind when you think of 3M? For me, at least, it is Post-its, right? But then 3M is so much more than just Post-its. So when other businesses were struggling to survive, 3M flourished. How did they do that? Because they innovated. They were creative. They are known for their creativity, be it not just in their products range, but even their functional domain. They created and they innovated even in their supply chain management processes. They collaborated with Ford, an automobile manufacturing company, at the time of COVID to be able to beat the challenges related to supply chain management. So that is resilience for all of us. It is heartening to see the Howards of the world standing up to the Trumps of the world and saying, we will not take this. So educational institutions and universities have a huge role to play when it comes to showing resilience in difficult times. We will explore through this conference a wide spectrum of ideas, from green innovation and circular economies to stakeholder capitalism and ESG leadership. We'll hear from trailblazing entrepreneurs, from visionary policymakers, from students, and from researchers, from purpose-driven organizations who are redefining success, not just by the strength of their bottom line, but by the depth of their impact. I extend my heartfelt congratulations and thanks to the organizing committee who have done tremendously well in putting together this huge team here for this conference. On behalf of the same organizing committee in particular and the university in general, I thank each one of you for your presence and your participation. Let us make the next few days truly transformative. Quoting from a book that I'm currently reading by Dr. Duane, which is titled Pulling Your Own Strings, what I hear, I forget. What I see, I remember. But what I do, I understand. So I hope and welcome all of you once again to begin a conversation here, but let's not restrict that to conversations because what we hear, we forget. So let's transform them into actions for the good of all. Thank you once again and all the very best.
Thank you, ma'am, for that profound address, highlighting the importance of creativity and innovation in bringing resilience and truly creating innovative business models. Your address has already set the ball rolling for today's deliberations. To walk us through the theme and aspirations of this international conference, I now invite Dr. Pankaj Tondial, conference co-convener, to present an overview and share the vision behind ICSBPIM 2025.
Good morning, esteemed guests, distinguished researchers, industry leaders, and valued attendees. On behalf of organizing team, it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the second International Conference on Sustainable Business Practices and Innovative Models, a platform where ideas converge, knowledge is shared, and innovation thrives. As the convener of this year's conference, I'm thrilled to see such a vibrant and diverse gathering of minds from across the globe, united by our shared visions for advancing theme of building resilience, business with sustainable value. Together, we gather to celebrate the pursuit of knowledge, the exchange of groundbreaking ideas, and the collaborative spirit that drives progress across disciplines. This year's conference is a testament to strength and dynamism of our academic and professional community. We have curated a rich and multifaceted program structured around 6 different tracks, each designed to address critical themes and emerging trends in our field. Allow me to briefly introduce these tracks and share some exciting details about the remarkable contributions we have received. In track 1, Sustainable and Innovative Marketing Practices, we are delighted to have received 146 paper submissions for this track, reflecting the global interest and rapid evolution of this particular domain. In track 2, Innovation, Finance and Practices and Models, we have received 108 high-quality papers showcasing, again, groundbreaking research and practical solutions to some of the world's most pressing challenges. In track 3, Innovation and Human Resource Practices, we have received 97 submissions highlighting novel approaches to improving global human resources outcomes. In track 4, Innovation and Sustainability in Operation Management, we have received 74 papers underscoring the pivotal role of data-driven decision makings in operation management today's world. In track 5, Sustainable and Innovative Practices, Models in Information Technology, we have received 89 submissions and such offering unique and creative perspectives that bridge multiple fields. In track 6, Innovation, Tourism, Agribusiness Practices, and Entrepreneurship Practices, this year we have received 61 papers reflecting global interest in innovative approaches to these interconnected fields. I'm very happy to announce that we have received approximately 600 papers submissions across all the tracks, showcasing the vibrant enthusiasm and scholarly excellence of our research community. From these submissions, 375 papers were selected for the presentation over the next 2 days. Following the conference, only 50 papers we will be chosen through a stringent double-blind peer review process for inclusion in our Springer edited book, which will be submitted for indexing in leading databases such as Scopus and Web of Science. This highlight selective process results in acceptance rate of approximately 8 to 9% only, reflecting the exceptional quality of our research. We extend our profound gratitude to our program committee, reviewers for their unwavering commitment and expertise in curating this remarkable program. Over the next 2 days, we have the opportunity to engage with these contributions through a variety of formats, oral presentation, panel discussions, and interactive workshops. Our keynote speakers will further enrich our discussion with their visionary insights. Additionally, we have planned networking sessions to foster collaboration and spark new ideas among you, our esteemed participants. As convener, our goal is to create an inclusive, inspiring, and intellectual stimulating environment. We encourage you to actively participate, ask questions, share your perspectives, and connect with your fellow attendees. Your contribution, both within and beyond the formal session, will shape the success of this conference and the future of our field. Before I conclude, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our co-conveners, organizing committee, sponsors, and most importantly, all of you making this event possible. Together, let us make ICS BPIM 2025 a milestone in our collective pursuit of knowledge and innovation. Without further ado, let's embark on this exciting journey. I wish you all a productive, inspiring, and memorable conference. Thank you, and let's get started.
Thank you, Dr. Dhonial, for presenting an overview of the conference and apprising us with a detailed process for paper selection, as well as schedule for the next 2 days, April 23rd and April 24th. It gives me great pleasure to now introduce our esteemed keynote speakers, whose insights and experiences will undoubtedly enrich today's proceedings and inspire us all. With that comes our first keynote speaker, Dr. Rajiv R. Thakur, a seasoned academic leader and institution builder, renowned for his unwavering commitment to excellence in management education. Currently serving as the Director General of Jaipuria School of Business, Dr. Thakur brings with him over 32 years of distinguished experience across industry and academia. Throughout his academic journey, he has held leadership roles at prestigious institutions including IIM Jammu, IIMT Ghaziabad, BIMTech, MIT World Peace University, among others. His rich background also includes over a decade in media with the Times of India Group and the Statesman. An avid researcher and trainer, he brings deep expertise in national and international accreditation frameworks such as AACSB, NBA, and NAC. May I request Dr. Rajiv to kindly address the audience with his valuable perspectives.
Namaskar and a very good morning to one and all. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, even if they are present in Bangalore and they're listening to us, the head of the institution, head of the university, Madam Dr. Jean, and the convener, Dr. Pankaj, my fellow colleagues on the dais, and respected audience, especially the young friends. You are the future of India, and I think, and the world, the civilization. And when we talk of topics like sustainability and the world, you will be the future, you will be the creator of the future. Whatever mistakes that we or present generation or the past generation has done or have not been able to do, we expect and we are confident that you would be doing it. I will come to that in a moment. But first of all, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Jean. Thank you, all the colleagues. I can see a few of known faces, colleagues here. Thank you, Dr. Avinav, for inviting me, giving this opportunity. Well, I could see we have about 10 minutes and we are, I think, almost on time. So I will try to manage within the time, certainly so. Let me start with invoking a shloka, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Vadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhavet. I think most of us, we know. Through this slok, we invoke the goodness, the welfare of the mankind and the civilization. Let us not forget what has just have not even 24 hours before, the gruesome event that has happened in this country and in the society. With this prayer, we invoke the blessings and the courage to all those affected families, those who lost their lives, those who are suffering, and our prayers to them, prayers to the society, prayers to the state, this nation, and this entire civilization. I think when we are talking about, I could see the topic, the theme, you have sustainable business practices, you have innovation, you talk of resilience business practices, and then you are talking of sustainable value creation. I think more than that, we first need to talk about sustainability of humanity, sustainability of human civilization, sustainability of the society, and to ensure that, we need to ensure a resilient mindset, a resilient values, resilient actions, which will make this society and this human civilization grow. If even the topic that we're talking of, business practices, the sustainable business practices and the sustainable human civilization, I think they are both grossly connected. With this, let me go back to a little history which I do not know. In fact, personally, I did my PhD quite late after completing my post-graduation, and the topic happened to be sustainability in agriculture. And that time, this was somewhere year 2000 when I completed it. And when I was looking at the literature, it was 1987 when the World Commission on Environment Development, we had a Brundtland Commission report, which came out, the report titled as Our Common Future. I must repeat the exact definition of that particular report and from where I think we have started talking about sustainability. It's very simple. It talks about development that meets the present needs without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their ends. So whatever we do today, there should not be compromise with our future generation. And that's why I emphasized that whatever has been done, it is done. But for you, future generation and the coming generations, I think we need to leave this world which is livable. Now, why is this important topic important? When I was doing my research, and that to agriculture, we talked about basically the high fertilizer use, the chemical use, the soil depletion, the water table issues which were happening with when the HIV seeds were there, it used to be supported by a heavy dose of water, and how it was affecting the water tables. We're talking about deforestation, we're talking about forgetting the old practices and the old hidden wisdoms within the farmer which ensured sustainability. So I think the issues remain same. It has become more aggravated, more challenging. But what is the message? The message is, today we are 2025. I am talking of when I read this literature seriously, that was 2000. Well, I can see Mr. Sharma here, so we should give him a round of applause. Welcome to him. So continuing with that, so 2000, and if we fix this date of 1987 of this Brundtland report, count the years. So this concern on environment and sustainability is not new. We have been talking about the issue, we have been talking about what is to be done, what is the actions from agriculture to environment. Now it has come to the businesses, and you have three broad dimensions. Given the time, I would not go into the details. I'm touching the broad points. You have economic dimension of it, the social dimension of it, and the environmental dimension of it. And I think we need to address, and we are facing challenges. I think so what I'm trying to suggest is the problem is getting graver without the real solutions. Now, at the end of my address, what I am going to convey, let me underline that fact. Whether we are talking of resilient business practices, we are talking of innovation, I think everything has to start with me first, with us first. We have to walk the talk. You can well imagine that how the environmental concerns within this hall, when we are conducting this sustainability conference, what are those things which can be done, or what we have done since morning which could have preserved our environment, and why it is. So this is the takeaway I think you younger generation should take away, that you should introspect, you should talk, you should practice. What are those sustainable practices? And why it is important? It is important, the subject is important, because as youngsters, you are the more sensitized generation who right from the school days, from the childhood, have been taught what environment sustainability means, why it is important, how it can be practiced. And tomorrow as business managers, you have to practice them in your life. As a human being, you have to practice them. As business practices, you have to implement them in your organizational setup and in actions, isn't it? If it is so, what is the other advantages? So much of awareness. Technology supports us. You are facilitated by technology, which gives you to prevent these, ensure that sustainability. We're talking of resilient business practices. You have communication, you have network. The world is at your doorstep. The world is in your mobile. We didn't have that kind of advantage. You have that history, that past, the mistakes that you have done, the policymakers would have done, the government would have done, as family members, as your parents would have done. And you know better what is good for you and good for society. So I think you are the change makers. You are the ambassadors. You are the champions who are going to take this drive, whether we talk of business or we talk of our family or we talk of the society. Right? I think the next, as business managers and as corporates, when we are talking of business practices, why it is imperative for organization or for you as business managers to understand this and to inculcate in your practices, to have those skills and understanding. Because organizations no more can use sustainability and talk of sustainability just as a matter of fancifulness. It is not for branding's sake. It has to be strategic in nature. They cannot survive. It has to be strategic. It has to be futuristic. Why? Because if you are not alert, if you are not preserving, you are not having the best practices, you will not have the raw materials on place. You may not have the right energy in place. You may not have the entire value chain which is optimized, because those resources would get scarce. You will have competitors who would be believing in them. And if you don't practice it, your competitors will have that competitive advantage. You will have an impact on your cost and on your margin. Forget about that. You have a more informed, more alert, aware buyers and the market who would prefer a sustainable and environmental friendly products and services. So therefore, for your survival, for your growth, individual growth and survival, and for organization growth and survival, getting into these practices are critical. I hope I'm making sense. It is more important and critical than what we have been talking about. Now, I think another 2, 3, 4 minutes, I would be concluding. Let me talk about a few examples. When we are talking of innovation, resilient practices, what is happening around? Ma'am talked about 3M. There are many organizations, many cases that would be talked about. Let me talk about one organization, and I'll just briefly touch upon. You have ITC. Everyone is familiar with that organization. And let's talk about their hotel segment. Now, what does that say? I was talking of the strategic approach and orientation of organization. Their values and their mission says that sustainability at the heart of everything we do. Go to their website, find it. Sustainability at the heart of everything we do. Responsible luxury and practices that are in harmony with environment and society. Normally, there is a stigma, there is a negativity when we talk of luxuries and luxury product and services, but here ITC is addressing that. Go to their hotels, right from their toiletries to washrooms to the beds and linens and the entire environment. You will find they have fixed up those messages, how they are environment friendly, how they're preserving it, and how they're alerting you how to be conscious about that fact. And no wonder they have got the LEED zero carbon and the LEED zero water certifications. Please Google search. I'm not going into, these are the international standards for any organization preserving carbon and preserving water. Let me touch another important area or something which is unheard. I'm talking of you must have heard about a lot of work is happening around responsible tourism. And I had an opportunity to visit a place called Cochin, about 1.5 hours flight from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. You have ecotourism space, and a lot of work is happening around responsible tourism. You have an organization called Reborn, that is Responsible Borneo. Now that Borneo, what is the concept behind this Responsible Borneo? They want to develop this as a tourism spot, and we are fighting these challenges within the tourism spots that India has, be it Uttarakhand, be it Northeast, be it any destination. And they are focusing on the community-based tourism, which protects the interests of the community, the ethical tourism, which protects the interest and doesn't interfere with the ethnic population of that particular area. The cultural tourism takes the benefit of the cultural tourism. We are witnessing in India as well, the rural tourism and the geotourism. I would not go into the explanation. Now, similarly, there would be many, many more examples. I'll just give you one more example of talking about innovation. For your information, it was an interesting case, therefore I brought it. Titan has certain product lines where the watches are using used materials. They are reusing the used materials, and that's how they are preserving it. There are services, there is a concept of whereby instead of buying products, you are leasing them or taking them on rent. And it is happening. You youngsters do it. Instead of buying, you rent a AC, you rent a cooler, you rent a refrigerator. And by that, what are you doing? You are indirectly supporting the environment, isn't it? So that way, there would be so many examples and practices. Now, let me touch upon last thing, how the new age skills, the new age technology. You have AV, VR. We are all aware, right? Now, instead of going to for the shopping and burning your fuel, etc., these things provide you the immersive experience of a showroom. You go, use this technology, experience, and then you decide, and then if you need to go to a particular showroom, go there. E-commerce, optimizing delivery routes and reducing carbon emissions. What does the blockchain technology does? Transportation, transportive supply chain information, end to end, it traces its origins and impact, and therefore it helps in decision making. And so there can be so many examples, and that's where I began, that you are blessed with technology, you are blessed with networking, you are blessed with high communication, interaction across the world. Geography is not the limit. You can be sitting in one of your rural villages, and there also you can approach the Silicon Valley. And I must congratulate the organization of the organizers of this particular conference. I was seeing you have 48 tracks, and I was wondering, if there is a 48 tracks, how many papers you will be exposed to. And when Dr. Pankaj gave the figures, 600, 300, and then you have 50. Look at the rigor that the conference has adopted. 50% paper they have not included for the track presentation. So you have your exposure is going to be 300 papers. उसके 10% भी आप निकाल लोगे, 30% भी अगर आपको कोई पेपर इंटरेस्ट करता है, उनके इनोवेशंस, उनके लर्निंग को आप लर्न करते हो, I think that's a humongous learning for all that. And I think this includes, that learning includes us, the faculty, all the community. So I think it's a huge opportunity that you have got, and I'm sure you will be continuing after this to attend the tracks, or at least to have a look of all the papers, I think you need to, and that's where I end, that the future of this civilization, of this society, of this world belongs to you. Responsibility lies on each one of us. And if you are enlightened, you are sensitized, I think you are helping yourself and you are helping the humanity. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you, sir, for sharing such phenomenal examples of ITC, tourism industry, where these sustainable practices are really demonstrated in action, and also sharing such a simple yet powerful understanding that sustainability of human civilization, society, and resilience in action and values are closely aligned with each other and indeed a prerequisite for sustainable business models. Thank you so much, sir, for such a profound address. Joining us next is Dr. Hibatullah Adam, a global voice in international economic development and founder of the Jindal Center for the Global South. Her work powerfully advances equity, innovation, and sustainability in policy and practice. Holding a BA, MA, and a PhD from Ain Shams University, Egypt, Poitiers University, and Sorbonne University, France, her research spans poverty alleviation, green economics, fintech, and political economy. As an active member of the Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World and the African Studies Center at Leiden, Dr. Adam contributes to editorial boards, peer reviews, and global conferences, cementing her role as a leading voice in equitable development for the Global South. We are honored by your presence, ma'am. We look forward to hearing your thoughts.
Okay, thanks. A very good morning, everyone. Respected Vice Chancellor and Pro Vice Chancellor. I hope if they are able to, they are joining us online. And respected Registrar, Dean of the school, distinguished faculty members, fellow speakers, scholars and students, and esteemed guests. It's truly an honor to be with you all here today, and it is my first visit to your beautiful campus, and to be present here as a keynote speaker for the inaugural session of the second International Conference on Sustainable Business Practices and Innovative Models that the School of Business and Management at your university is organizing. I would like first, before my speech, to express my heartfelt gratitude to the organizing committee, Dr. Ramji and Dr. Pankaj, Dr. Pratishka, and Dr. Abhinav for inviting me, and for the immense efforts that I can see clearly today in organizing and bringing all together professionals and academicians from different places, and all the gatherings that we have with us today. So we are gathered today for the inaugural session of our conference on sustainable business practices and innovative models. So as we are gathered today, actually in a very complex and uncertain global landscape, in a world that is increasingly defined by more of crises. We have crises from different forms and levels. There are climate crisis, technological crisis, economic inequality, geopolitical instability, trade and tariff wars. So all these kind of crises, they are making our business to be more and more complicated. And in this context, businesses are no longer insulated actors. They are largely involved in the broader fabric of social and ecological systems. So the theme of this conference, Building Resilient Business with Sustainable Value Creation, actually it resonates deeply. It's not only recognizes the vulnerabilities exposed by recent disruptions, but also the possibilities ahead if we act with foresight and collective will. So actually, I believe that we must consider a transition from sustainability as an ideal to resilience as practice. Resilience requires adaptability, innovation, inclusiveness, and a commitment to ethical leadership. In practical terms, this means embedding environmental, social, and governance metrics into core strategies, not as peripheral obligations, but as functional priorities. And since I'm coming from a background supporting Global South, though I would like to emphasize the role of Global South in shaping the future of sustainable business. Often operating within resource constraints and institutional volatilities in countries located in Global South, in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, are emerging as laboratories of frugal innovation and adaptive governance. Whether it's solar microgrids in rural India or mobile money platforms in East Africa or circle economy in Latin America, all these models offer alternative blueprints that the rest of the world can learn from. So we have very good examples of sustainable preservance and lessons that can be learned from the Global South. Institutions like Christ University are uniquely positioned to lead this transformation. So I really appreciate the university commitment to excellence, global engagement, and interdisciplinary research, which is evident in your faculty publication. But the challenges ahead will require even deeper efforts to mainstream sustainability across curricula, foster real-world problem solving, and train students not just as job seekers, but also as change makers. So our conference, therefore, is not just an academic exercise, it also can be considered as a call to action. Speaking about the future and collaboration and prospects for more collaboration across universities in India and across the globe. So we should think that future is not only shaped by isolated excellences, but also by collaborative intelligence. So universities, industries, governments, and communities must converge to co-create systems that are equitable, sustainable, and resilient. So let's focus on the main pillar of our conference: inclusive innovation ecosystem, just and green transition, transparent and accountable leadership, empowered youth, and local communities. So all these are considered to be like a cornerstones for the future of our business. So as I bring this address to a close, I return to a fundamental question, which is what kind of legacy do we wish to leave? So we can say that in the end, the measure of resilient business will not lie only in its profit margin, but it's in its purpose. So not only in its efficiency, but in its empathy, and not only in what it's building, but what it is, the business is able to sustain. So once again, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the entire organizing team for this generous invitation and to be with all the esteemed guests and fellow speakers today, and for your warm welcome. I wish you all the success for your conference and to have insightful discussions in the coming panels, and to have a real thought-provoking exchange of ideas. And I hope that we will have more collaboration to be built upon beyond this event. Before ending, let me leave you with a quote from the wisdom of the ancient Egypt, from the instruction of Ptah Hotep. He was the prime minister during the 400 BCE in the fifth family kingdom in Egypt. What he said that to speak the truth is a beautiful thing, but to live the truth, this is the highest form of wisdom. So may we all not only speak of sustainable value, but also to live it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Habitullah Adam. Truly said, businesses are becoming complex, surrounded by numerous challenges, which makes developing resilience absolutely necessary for businesses to grow. So this conference is not just an academic endeavor. We are hopeful that the conference will bring in new perspectives as well as reinforce an urgency to take action for developing sustainable businesses. Thank you, ma'am. Our next keynote speaker is Dr. S.P. Sharma. But before I introduce Dr. S.P. Sharma, I would request our campus dean, Dr. Jean ma'am, and Pankaj sir to kindly felicitate Dr. S.P. Sharma. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I would now introduce Dr. S.P. Sharma. Dr. S.P. Sharma is a distinguished economist with a strong presence in both national and international economic arenas. He holds an MPhil in Industrial Economics and a PhD in International Business. With over 27 years of experience in economic research and policy advocacy, he has worked with leading organizations, including the Government of Punjab, Government of India, ASSOCHAM, PwC, Tata Capital, PhD Chambers of Commerce and Industry, where he served as Chief Economist and Deputy Secretary General. He is regularly invited by leading media outlets, including TV channels, radio, and print media, to provide expert insights on economics, industry, trade, and financial developments. He is also a regular panelist on Market Mantra, the prestigious program of All India Radio. Currently, Dr. Sharma is Managing Director and Chief Economist at Neo Economics Organization. I would now request Dr. S.P. Sharma to please address the distinguished gathering.
Thank you. Respected dignitaries on the dais, faculty members of Christ University, dear students, the brilliant students of Christ University. And at the outset, I am very sorry that I am late. I started at 7:30 from Dwarka, but it took around 2 hours to reach here because of heavy traffic. So really sorry for being late in this prestigious conference. So, topic, your conference. I wish all the best, and that is very crucial at this juncture that we must know about the sustainability and sustainable business practices by the corporate, by the businesses, by the people. Friends, world is at a very critical juncture, impacted by deepening geopolitical developments, which started in 2022. Re-emergence of trade war, volatile capital markets, and unpredictable prices, uneven inflationary scenarios in many countries. So at this juncture, sustainable business practices, which require firstly the environment sustainability, then social responsibility, economic viability, and end of the day, good governance, corporate ethics. So you have to create an equilibrium between these four parameters of the sustainable business practices. But the world is very dynamic. During the last 17 years, we observed a more and more dynamic economic environment. We observed the things happening which were not happened during the last 200 years, which happened in the last 20 years. In the 21st century, in the first 20 years of the 21st century. We observed, we witnessed the severe pandemic also. Going back to the years of 2004, 5, 6, 7, when world economy faced the golden era, the growth rate was more than 5% sustainable growth rate for many years for the world economy. And there were leverages, financial leverages, and economies were moving up, and India's growth rate was also more than 9% and even sometimes near 10%, and China was growing more than 10%. But the Lehman crisis hit the whole world scenario in 2008. Growth rate were decelerating. Economies were in the quagmire of financial derivatives and unemployment scenarios, decelerating growth rates. And this crisis started from the largest economy, United States. Thank you. In 2008, but before US recovered from that crisis, Europe was in severe crisis in 2011, 2012, impacted by the unemployment, high fiscal deficits, and all the related variables of the macroeconomics. And before Europe recovered from the slowdown, Japan was in crisis in 2014-15, impacted by the natural calamities and the slowdown in the economic scenario, macroeconomic environment, and the investments. And before Japan recovered from that crisis, China was in severe slowdown of 2016, 2017. China started decelerating because of various factors of the real estate market and export growth trajectory. And China and US were in the trade war in 2018. So that was the start of the next problematic era of the world economic system. And that war between US and China impacted the world economy by 0.8%. That becomes at around 1 trillion of the global GDP. And global GDP was at around 90 trillion at that time. And now we have $115 trillion. But before they settled their trade war of 2018, they were in discussions, and various economies were facing the slowdown. India was also facing the structural or the cyclical slowdown. There were many discussions about whether this slowdown is structural or cyclical. Coronavirus hit the world economy in 2020. So starting from the Lehman crisis, then the slowdown in Europe, then Japan, then China, then trade war, then coronavirus. COVID hit all the world economic system, and economies were in severe deceleration, and economic growth rates were falling, and markets were also in the free fall. And with the new discoveries and the discovery of medicine, we started recovering. But before we recovered fully, geopolitics impacted the world economy in 2022. There was a great war between Russia and Ukraine. And before world settled this trade war, geopolitics, Israel, Gaza, Israel, Iran, Israel, Lebanon, all these developments were there. And before these developments settled, again, we are in a trade war. So this is the trajectory of problematic developments during the last 17 years, starting from the Lehman crisis to the recent trade war between US and China. I don't know how this trade war is going to impact the world economic system or the world GDP and the GDPs of the developing countries. And they have to face the environment costs. In whole this scenario, now we have to maintain these sustainable business practices, which are your environment sustainability, social responsibility, economic viability, and your business ethics. So firstly, environment sustainability, how to maintain the environment sustainability. That differs between the countries, between the organizations, and between the people. Like the environment costs are very, very high, may not be very high for the advanced economies, but the developing countries will face a major hit because of this environment maintenance. According to some estimates, the environment cost of the developing countries will be at around $300 billion every year. And if we maintain environment for the many years, sustainable practices for the many years by 2040 or 50, then the cost will be in the trillions of dollars. And within the country, the organizations, like we have large conglomerates, those who are significantly connected with the global markets. They don't care the nitty-gritties of compliances or all these things. They are very, very ethical, and they are connected, and their volumes of profits and the sales are very, very high. But the MSMEs, the micro units and the small units, medium-sized units, their cost, because they run on the working capital environment that too majorly financed by the banking system. So this becomes very difficult to maintain such kind of cost in such a difficult environment of the global uncertainties and the rising cost of doing business because of the unpredictable inflation trajectory. So now the tariffs are increasing, and countries are protecting and sometimes imposing the non-tariff barriers, tariff barriers, safeguard duties, which increase the cost of doing business or the cost of raw materials or the and end of the day, ease of doing business. So in this scenario, how India is resilient or becoming resilient or showing resilience. Starting from the 1951, when we started from a growth rate of 2% or 3%, we were very, very slow, and we started reforms from the Green Revolution. And after the Green Revolution, our growth rate was not that much high. We were growing at 3% or somewhere between 3 to 4%. But then we took the thoughts of liberalization, LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization of 1991. And thereafter, we started signing free trade agreements in 2000. Our first free trade agreement was with Sri Lanka. And thereafter, we started the multilateral agreements, SAFTA, ASEAN. And thereafter, our growth rate was high, and we were moving ahead with the high growth trajectory. So we moved from the slow to steady, steady to fast, and now we are the fastest moving economy in the world economic system. And reforms, starting from the Green Revolution to the FTAs, then the multilateral agreements, thereafter the Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, PLI scheme. Now we are looking at Viksit Bharat by 2047. So in this whole scenario, to maintain the business practices becomes very, very crucial, as we have to become the world economy by 2047. And our great strengths are supporting us. Our great strengths, starting from our consumption trajectory, our domestic demand, our agriculture sector. Our agriculture sector is a great support for the Indian economy. Let me tell you, if you are looking at the IT or the other developments or the robotics or the artificial intelligence, also look at our agriculture sector, which is very, very supportive to the Indian economy. You go by the numbers of the 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, our agriculture sector grew more than 4% on an average, which has not happened since the last many decades. And our exports trajectory, exports, now we are talking about $821 billion last year, which is the highest number of the exports. That is also supported by the exports of the agriculture sector. Our agriculture sector exports increased from the $30 billion in 1819, then 40, 50. Now we are at around $50 billion of the agri-food and agri-exports. But this is not enough. We have to move forward with more and more exports in the agri and food processing sector, as there is a great world demand of more than $1,500 billion, and we are only $50 billion, which is less than 1% of the total world demand. So we have a great chance to become more and more robust in the global economy, to move forward and to become more and more sustainable. Firstly, to maintain the environment practices, and to secondly, to generate employment opportunities for the rural people. That is also a part of the sustainable development. If we are not creating employment for the rural people, then our economy will not be sustainable. So we have to support the rural enterprises also, rural people also, so that they are also contributing equally, and our growth becomes more and more inclusive in the coming times. So exports must be supported by the environment sustainability and the sustainability of our rural sector. And our manufacturing. Manufacturing sector should become more and more resilient. And this is the great opportunity at this juncture in this scenario of the world economic problem or the tussle. This is a great opportunity to become more and more strong with the strong supply chains. Our manufacturing, which is only 14% of our GDP, should be more than 25% of our GDP with the support of the reduced cost of doing business. Why I'm talking about the reduced cost of doing business? Because these costs of doing business are very, very important. And these are part of your sustainable business practices. Why? Because your sustainable business practices are standing at the four major pillars. First, environment. Second, social. Third, economic viability. Economic viability means your businesses must be profitable. You must be connected with the global supply chains. Your production scenarios must be very, very adequate, not, not, not surpassing your production possibilities and not lower than your production possibilities. So you have to be very, very adequate in your production scenarios to maintain your profitability. To maintain your profitability, the five costs are very, very important. First is the cost of compliances. Second is the cost of finances. Third is the cost of power. And fourth is the cost of logistics. And fifth is the cost of labor. So to reduce the cost of doing business also becomes crucial for your sustainable business practices. So friends, the whole scenario is based on your resilience, your thoughts, your reforms. Reforms means the facilitation by the government. That is also very, very important to become sustainable in the business practices. As our government is very, very supportive, starting from the Make in India, then Atmanirbhar Bharat, then Startup India, and now the more and more focus on these of doing business and the cost of doing business. And now we are looking at Viksit Bharat by 2047, and we have very, very great insights about the Viksit Bharat. Firstly, we are the fastest moving economy in the world economic system. Though there are a lot of headwinds and deepening geopolitical developments, but still we are very, very promising and attractive for the global investors. Recently, in this problematic year of the global developments, of the Red Sea, of the deepening geopolitics, we posted the highest number in our exports of $821 billion. And we are now becoming a $4.3 trillion economy in this financial year. We will be the fourth largest economy. Everybody is talking about the fifth to third, but I would say firstly, we have to check the fourth number also, as we are going to become, we are surpassing the Japan in this year, in this financial years, we will be becoming the fourth largest, and in 2027, surpassing Germany, we will be the third largest economy. So we have the highest growth rate, we have the highest export numbers, and our inflation trajectory is coming down. Our inflation is at 3.3%. And within the last 1 year, we reduced the inflation trajectory significantly from 4.5% to 3.3% on an average. So I am giving you the three magic numbers. Then I think you must realize that how India is going to become resilient and more robust in the global economic environment, how India's people, India's businesses, India's traders, India's investors are relying on India and India's parameters of growth. The three major parameters, investments, GDP, and your external resilience are very, very important. If I go by the numbers, our stock market on 1st January 1991 was 999. Now we have a stock market of at around 87,000. Our exports in 1991 were less than $20 billion. Now we have an export trajectory of $821 billion. And thirdly, our GDP was $270 billion in 1991. Now we have a GDP of $403 billion, $4.3 trillion in 2025. So this is the trajectory of our reforms and the support of the government and of reforms, starting from the Green Revolution to the Atmanirbhar Bharat and PLI, and now the Viksit Bharat by 2047, and the recent reforms of the government and the ethical practices adopted by the businesses and the people and the government are supporting, and I'm sure that this trajectory will remain intact in the not only coming times, but in the coming decades, and India will be a rising and shining force in the world economic system and will lead the global economic order in the coming decades. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I really enjoyed the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for such an insightful address. It is indeed a complex scenario for businesses facing global uncertainties, war crisis, pandemic, and maintaining environmental sustainability is a challenge. But on the brighter side, with a strong agriculture sector and growing manufacturing sector, our country is on the way to become more and more resilient. Thank you so much, sir. We now welcome Dr. Vinetosh Mishra, joining us virtually from the UAE. Let me now introduce Dr. Vinetosh Mishra, a pioneering researcher in the field of AI in healthcare. Dr. Mishra exemplifies the seamless integration of technology, ethics, and innovation in medical sciences. He currently serves as the director of Thambay Institute for AI in Healthcare and Gulf Medical University, Ajman. Dr. Mishra holds 2 prestigious postdoctoral fellowships, one in AI in Healthcare from the University of Arizona, USA, and another in Ethical AI in Healthcare from Israel. He earned his PhD in Healthcare Management and a BTech in Electronics Engineering from IIT BHU, India. With over 19 years of diverse industry experience spanning IT, manufacturing, finance, healthcare, and education, Dr. Mishra's expertise is both deep and interdisciplinary. He also holds Australian and German patents in the domain of AI in healthcare, reinforcing his status as a global innovator in this space. We are delighted to welcome Dr. Vinetosh Mishra, who joins us online. May I request you, sir, to address the gathering?
Thanks. I'm sharing my slides. Yeah, now it's visible. So one of the track or one of the thrust area for this conference is innovation in tourism. And when Dr. Ramji actually invited me, it came into my mind, why not to discuss about medical tourism as a revenue generation option for many economies which are actually struggling. And thank you again for inviting me, the organizers, and I was listening the report about the conference, so many papers, so many tracks. It's really commendable to organize such a conference at such a large scale. So congratulations for that. Next 10 minutes or so, I will be talking about innovation in tourism, especially on medical tourism and how technologies are actually enabling not only AI, but also metaverse, which we actually witness every day at Thambay Medical Tourism Company, how we are integrating metaverse into medical tourism. The one or two global phenomena is there everywhere. Healthcare cost is rising. So in healthcare, the inflation is very high, and people are actually looking towards low cost destination for availing their medical tourism, medical care. Of course, not compromising on their quality. So there are options, many options are there. Some of the destination countries are more on tourism and less on healthcare. Some are on more on healthcare and less on tourism. But we will be discussing how medical tourism can be one of the option for diversifying the economy, and UAE is one of the country which is thinking medical tourism as one of the option to diversify from the fossil fuel. So, and the market which we see right now is 50 billion for medical tourism and is slated to become by $150 billion by 2030. So a lot of opportunities are there, but there are certain challenges which need to be addressed before any country can use medical tourism as a as one of its force in economy. So tourism is undergoing a paradigm shift So we are seeing the revenge tourism after Corona. Actually, people are traveling, people are well connected, people are willing to go everywhere. But before that, they are actually using digital technologies to reshape the experience, to learn more about the places before visiting there. In next 10 minutes or so, I will discuss the convergence of medical tourism and metaverse, 3D virtual space, how augmented reality and virtual reality is making it possible that we think medical tourism not in terms of only elective surgery, cosmetic surgery, or dental surgery, but also for medicinal treatment. So we will be seeing that how it is being possible. How immersive digital environment are redefining global tourism and healthcare experience through metaverse. We'll be discussing that. Medical tourism, already I told you, the growth is phenomenal, and right now we are sitting at $50 billion market size. Now it will be 150 billion by 2030. I actually believe it will be more than that. Earlier we were only visiting one destination country for cost cutting, or when the some kind of surgery or some kind of medical treatment like stem cell therapy or maybe IVF was not available in certain country. But the things are now changing. People are actually traveling to other country to have experience also. So suppose they are saving some cost, then they want to spend that money on experience. So people are coming to India, Thailand, UAE, Turkey. These are now specialized for different treatment, including cosmetic surgery. I was saying not only limited to cosmetic surgery and elective surgery, but also cardiac care and fertility. Technology advancement make it possible that there will be follow-up visit post in medical tourism process. What is there? There is a pre-visit process, there is a post-visit follow-up. So pre-visit process is actually becoming very easy because of telemedicine and integration of metaverse into that. During the process, you will be in hospital or in the destination country, and then post follow-up visits are possible in actually virtual mode using telemedicine. Telemedicine is further augmented by metaverse. Telemedicine is further augmented by haptic sensors. And now it is very much possible to provide medicinal treatment also using telemedicine. So suppose someone, one example I'm giving, someone is having uncontrolled blood sugar level. That person may visit to India in Delhi in suppose Fortis Hospital or Medanta Hospital. They will be there in observation for suppose 15 days on insulin. Suppose their blood sugar is now in control. Now they are visiting back to their country. Suppose their country is Nigeria. From there, that person can be on follow-up with the patient from with the doctor from Medanta, and his diabetes can be managed. So these are certain possibilities which are actually becoming possible. And of course, there are certain challenges like privacy and security of the data, regulations like HIPAA and all. So there are technologies which actually come into fore in that also, like blockchain, where we can actually maintain the data privacy and security and become compliant with HIPAA and or GDPR laws also. The metaverse immersion in tourism, not only in healthcare, actually it has come into, this is one of the technology which is actually augmenting the hospitality and healthcare most. The metaverse enables immersive simulation of travel destination and culture experience before actually you visit. You can have AI powered planning. You can know what will be the expenses when you are visiting a country so that you can plan accordingly. And AI driven travel planning is there, VR based preview and redefine how tourists explore and choose experiences. So these are also making possible. So metaverse and blockchain collectively are making it possible that medical tourism is risk free and secure also. Metaverse application in medical tourism, when you talk about, we can have virtual hospital, especially for certain type of treatment like clinical psychology, or maybe some children is there which is autistic. So their treatment can be done in virtual hospital also. Pre-treatment counseling, as I was discussing about, physician avatar offer real-time multilingual consultation is possible before a patient visit to actual healthcare destination country. And I was saying the follow-up care also, virtual rehab, so counseling, personalized digital spaces may be there for patient post visit, and that can be provided using metaverse and telemedicine. Innovative use cases of medical tourism and metaverse, when you talk about AI avatars and guides for, especially for treatment like autism is there, or behavioral treatment, behavior modification treatment, blockchain health passport. I was actually discussing about just now, because you need to keep healthcare information is pristine. You need to keep it secure, and there are different law like GDPR and HIPAA. You need to be compliant in healthcare, so blockchain makes it possible. Immersive decision support, patient actually walk through treatment plans and simulates outcome using virtual twins before actually visiting. Virtual clinical trials are now possible. Digital spaces enable real-time clinician interaction and informed decision making. So lot of possibility is there when you are actually integrating technology into medical tourism. What are benefit and opportunities when we talk about by technology in medical tourism? Enhanced trust, transparency through virtual tours and doctor interaction, builds confidence before actually you visit the destination country. Operational efficiency, when less travel will be involved, less number of day of stay in a destination country, actually the cost for the patient will be more. So operational efficiency is there, improved accessibility is there, remote patient can explore option abroad without actually traveling, so that cost is also saved. Cultural sensitivity, platforms actually adopt languages nowadays. Actually you speak in Arabic and you speak in English, and that can be easily translated into Arabic in real time. So custom and expectation, cultural sensitivity is there. So that's also making it possible for medical tourism, and technology is touching all these things. What are actually challenges and ethical consideration when you actually use technology into medical tourism? The digital divide is one thing. Not all patients have VR, AR technology, but believe me, this technology are becoming cheaper day by day and becoming accessible each passing day. And data privacy, health data security, and legal framework are essential. I was talking about HIPAA, GDPR. So there are platforms which are compliant with HIPAA and GDPR. Virtual consent and liability, legal recognition of virtual decision is still evolving. Rules need to be developed. And when we say that GDPR or HIPAA, these are not standardized. There need to be a standardized healthcare privacy and security law actually, which can be used for a different country when we are actually dealing with medical tourism. Cultural sensitivity and bias, although technology is addressing it, so language you can actually address, but what about food, what about culture, that need to be adopted. What is the future of next generation tourism strategy? Healthcare innovation, more investment. And when I'm saying this is for UAE actually. UAE is diversifying to service-based economy from fossil fuel-based economy and real estate economy actually. So they are doing more into tourism, not only tourism, education. They are doing more into medical tourism. So investment in advanced medical and digital infrastructure is accelerating in UAE. UAE is a smart city. UAE is smart cities. Their cities are very, the infrastructure is very good. And public-private partnership and AI governance are key for scaling this adoption in UAE. And personalized digital care, the fusion of medical tourism and metaverse deliver efficient, trusted care before, during, and after patient journey. So these are next generation tourism strategies for actually medical tourism. And that's all from my side. Thank you very much for listening, and thanks again for inviting me to the conference.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra, for sharing your perspective about one of the rising but less talked about sector, that is medical tourism, and how technologies like blockchain, virtual and augmented reality is making a remarkable difference and redefining the industry to make it more safe and secure. Thank you so much, sir. Our heartfelt thanks for your virtual presence and impactful contribution.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again for inviting me.
Next, we have Dr. Punita Duhan, a passionate academic and researcher whose work in digital marketing and mobile commerce fosters entrepreneurship and digital inclusion. A doctorate in management from IMS BHU, she has served as a faculty member with DTE, Government of Delhi, for over 16 years. Her research is published by renowned publishers like Palgrave, Springer, and Sage, spans areas such as social media, mobile commerce, and socio-digital technologies. We eagerly await your perspectives, ma'am. May I request you to address the audience? Thank you.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellor of Christ University, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, visionary industry leaders, scholars, students, and organizers of the conference. A very warm good morning to all of you. It is an honor to stand before you today at this conference as we are discussing, a very vital topic of our time: how to create resilient companies that generate sustainable value. We are at a pivotal moment in history. The speakers before me had also has spoken about this, that we are going through, trying times. It is a very dynamic phase through which we are passing. We are facing price wars, trade wars, we are facing inequalities, we are facing ecological imbalances, environmental degradation, and a lot of other things. And businesses always have been facing, the issue of survival. And because of all these added dimensions, we are, the businesses it is becoming more and more difficult to sustain. Consumers have become very demanding, and it is becoming difficult to keep pace with what their demands are. So in such a scenario, the speakers also talk about that we can leverage high tech and we can find some solutions. So over the course of 2 days, numerous discussions would be held to deliberate upon innovative business models, strategies, practices, and solutions. But now, I would like to talk about how ancient Indian wisdom might be bridged with the newest technologies in the framework of sustainability. In today's rapid evolving landscape, the key to success is not just in adopting the latest technologies, but also in grounding these in time-tested wisdom, time-honored wisdom. And who better than our own Indian wisdom system, Indian ancient wisdom system? Few civilizations offer richer insights into resilience, sustainability, and ethical business practices than ancient India. The world today is in pursuit of balance. We want to balance profitability and with purpose. We want to balance innovation with integrity and technology with tradition. The question which we are asking is, how can we create businesses that stand the test of time, not just in financial success, but in social impact? So we turn to ancient Indian wisdom, which is a foundation of sustainable innovation. I think you all will agree with me when I say that we Indians have a very sustainable way of living. It has become a buzzword now. Sustainability has become a buzzword now because of the lots of problems the businesses and as a humanity also we are plagued with. But there are a lot of examples which I can quote, which can prove that we live a very sustainable life. We have been living a very sustainable life. When we were growing up, I'm sure the generation of my time period will certainly agree to that and would be knowing it very well. We didn't have so many choices with us. And what used to happen, पापा की पैंट से बच्चे की पैंट, बड़े भाई की पैंट, बड़े भाई की पैंट जो है छोटे भाई ने पहन ली, उसके बाद जो है उसका थैला बन गया. I hope all of you understand Hindi. उसका थैला बन गया. What is that? That is sustainability. I tell my son, who's little elder to you people, the students sitting here, of course, that we were a generation which were doing a lot of sustainability practice. We were into a lot of sustainability practices. How? We always carried our cloth bag to the market. So something which is becoming, which is being promoted, we were always into that. We always switch off the lights when we were going out of the room. In villages, people used to bathe in, a flat, large utensil. They used to stand in that, bathe, and after bathing, the water which was collected in that utensil was used for watering the plants or feeding as a drinking water for the animals. Of course, at that point of time, we were more concerned about the scarcity. But when I today look at it, I can safely say this was highly sustainable. And we are talking about water conservation. They were doing it. We all of us were doing it already. So why not to go to our ancient knowledge systems to dig deeper and find out the solutions which can be leveraged by the technology? Indian philosophies for centuries have emphasized sustainability. One such principle is Purusharth, which translates into object of human pursuit. Purusharth has 4 fundamental life goals: dharma, virtue; artha, prosperity; kama, pleasure; and moksha, which is the ultimate goal, meaning spiritual liberation. Okay, thank you. So kama and artha are considered destructive, and if they are overfed, they can lead to concentration of riches, obsession with material well-being, and overindulgence. So what we say? Well, we say maintain a balance between all these 4s. And when I say balance in all these 4, what I'm essentially talking about? I'm talking about sustainability. So how our new age technologies can play an important role here in achieving this balance. The digital era has redefined with how we connect with our consumers. The fusion of AI and big data analytics is revolutionizing the market efficiency and sustainability. AI-powered insights can enable brands to predict consumer preferences and thereby reduce unnecessary production. We can personalize marketing messages to minimize waste and maximize impact. This is what we want to do. So we can take that ancient wisdom from there and blend it with the technology and create an innovative solution. Another quote I would like to give here from Maha Upanishad: I am Nija Paroveti Ganana Laghu Chetsam Udara Charita Nam Tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Meaning, those with small mind consider that this is mine, this is yours, but whereas people with magnanimous heart and nature, they consider the whole world one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we heard a lot, we read a lot while G20 was going on. So now this profound idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is also beautifully aligns with principles of sustainability. We are not keeping only for ourselves, we are keeping for others too. And this is what sustainability talks about. So as there is dearth of time, so I would not like to go into many other examples. Yet one more example I would hurriedly go through is the storytelling tradition of ancient India. हम सब ने पंचतंत्र की कहानियां पढ़ी हैं. There was a story, and the story was always with some value at the end of it. There was some moral lesson. So brands can take a cue from there, and they are doing so. They are doing so. So we can root our, whatever, we are promoting to our Gen Z and Alpha, they want to switch to a brand that supports a cause they believe in, assuming price and quality are equal. So what I would like to urge you to as a researcher is that look for innovative business practices and models, look for new strategic, sustainable practices, but whenever you are doing a research, it is my call to you to look towards the Indian ancient systems, look for a solution from there, try to blend technology with it, and see what wonderful solution comes out. So let's not wait for change, let's design it. Sustainability isn't just about surviving the future, it's about shaping it with intention, imagination, and impact. Let's embrace innovation, challenge conventions, and build a world where businesses thrive by contributing positive to people and the planet. I appreciate the chance to be in this August company and share this space with you all today. Thank you so much, Christ University, for inviting me, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Kataria, for inviting me over. Thank you all and the organizers. They need to be commended for such a wonderful conference. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for reinforcing the need to integrate Indian knowledge systems and technology in order to create sustainable businesses which focus not only on financial success, but on social impact as well. Our sincere thanks to Dr. Punita for adding great depth to our deliberations today. Thank you, ma'am. Joining us virtually is Professor Azhar Kazmi, one of India's most respected voices in strategic management and author of several seminal texts. With over 40 years of experience in management education, he has taught at institutions like King Fahad University, IIUM Malaysia, MDS University, and AMU. Professor Kazmi holds a degree in mechanical engineering, an MBA, and a PhD in management. He has authored over 60 research papers and acclaimed books, including Business Policy and Strategic Management, widely used across business schools. He continues to serve on editorial boards and consults extensively across academia and industry. It is an honor to welcome a scholar whose work has shaped management classrooms across the globe. Let us now hear from Dr. Kazmi, whose experience and insights will surely enrich our understanding today. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to all of you, and I hope you can see me and hear me. First of all, let me thank the organizers, including the officials of the university, Christ University, Reverend Fathers Jose, Father Viju, Father Peter, and Dr. Jain, Dr. Pankaj, and of course, Dr. Shikha. It's a pleasure to be with you. And I must also thank Kartikeya and Atiksha for connecting with me and bringing me to this conference. It was a pleasure listening to the previous keynote speakers, a wide variety from different fields, Dr. Sharma, economics, Dr. Rajiv Thakur, Dr. Hebatullah, and interesting presentation on medical tourism by Dr. Vinay Tosh, and of course, ancient wisdom by Dr. Punita. I would take about 9 minutes now to present before you my take on the theme of the conference. First of all, let me say that the theme of the conference is quite challenging. Though it has terms and concepts that are quite common nowadays. Sustainability is not only a buzzword, as Dr. Punita said. It also become a sort of cliche by now. So we have these things. So what I am looking at is in the theme of the conference is, let me congratulate the organizers for coming up with this very topical theme for the conference. So sustainable business practices and innovative models. What I am looking at is three terms here: resilience, innovation, and sustainability. And I am looking at the intersection as well as interconnectedness of these two, and in the canvas of future-proofing the business. So my theme is, my address is basically on future-proofing business. By bringing together these sustainability, innovation, and resilience. These terms are quite common nowadays, so there is no need to explain these terms. In fact, some of My earlier speakers have done that, So what I am looking at is sustainability as a foundation for long-term value. And resilience I'm looking at as a strategic advantage. And innovation I'm looking at as a pathway to sustainable growth. So let's come to the first thing, the role of sustainability in long-term business success. We know there are many strategic benefits of sustainability. They are much talked about, like having a competitive advantage because you can attract eco-conscious consumers, for example, investors and partners. And of course, the cost efficiency that comes with sustainability and the company being in regulatory compliance and sustainability also adding to brand reputation and market growth and so on. So we have seen many companies, Indian companies, both in the past and at present, which have focused on sustainability for long-term business success. What immediately came to my mind was about the Tata Group, for example, which has done a lot of work in renewable energy, for example, at Tata Power or Tata Steel having sustainable steel production. Other of our legacy company like ITC Limited, which has done a lot of work on carbon and water positive, becoming water positive, zero waste goals, and so on. We also have Mahindra and Mahindra, for example, working in electric mobility, afforestation, the Mahindra Haryali project, and so on. The second point is about the resilience. So I am looking at resilience as a competitive advantage. And interestingly, while thinking about resilience we see as the ability to bounce back after a challenging situation is faced, or after having gone through a crisis, we emerge relatively unscathed, and therefore we are able to face the situation strongly. So resilience is that ability. But interestingly, it's also connected with longevity. So while thinking about this, I did have to bring in longevity also. Now in resilience, what we have is the key traits are, if you look at organizations, and I'll give you some case examples. Adaptability, for example, adaptability to navigate markets and focus on consumer shifts effectively, or, for example, the ability for crisis management, preparing for and absorbing disruptions, for example, in supply chains, or employee engagement is another area, having strong internal culture during tough times. And innovation and agility also comes here partly because resilience drives proactive innovation. And then, of course, customer trust is also there associated with resilience. Because customers, they do appreciate companies which are resilient. And in this case, we have seen many legacy companies like Reliance Industries, which has been there since the 1980s, how it has pivoted into telecom, Geo, for example, and green energy from traditional, starting with the textiles and so on. We have seen a very dynamic bank like HDFC Bank, major bank in the private space, how it has navigated financial downturns with strong risk protocols. Or Asian Paints, for example, is another uh, popular company which has improved tech and supply chain resilience globally. So we have many examples of these companies which are there. Now coming to the third point of innovation, leveraging innovation for sustainable growth. Now innovation pathways are there. We have like say for example, people have referred to eco innovation like renewable energy or using biodegradable materials, for example. Or focusing on circular economy of reusing, recycling, and so on. And then tech-driven sustainability, like Dr. Mishra was talking about, using artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and so on, or blockchain, and so on. And then, of course, your team also has new business models like sharing economy, or we can talk about carbon neutral operations and so on. And then, of course, we also have collaboration, partnerships with startups, or partnership across academia, partnership with governments, and so on and so forth. So we have had a lot of these instances. Like we look at Infosys, for example, uh, which has focused on AI-based sustainability, and or it has had a focus on green campuses all throughout. We have Zomato, for example, EV-based delivery systems, or looking to sustainable packaging, or a relatively lesser known company like Renew Power, which is in the wind and solar innovation, which is doing, Now, my final thought and the message to the conference would be the interconnected edge which is there, between these three phenomenon that we talk about, sustainability, innovation, and resilience. And let me tell you, especially the young faculty members and students, that these are not standalone strategies. They work together. As I was giving you some bits of explanation, you saw that innovation coming in resilience and so on. So they're not standalone strategies. They work together. They form the backbone of future ready businesses. Because the challenge before businesses is not just dealing with current markets, but also dealing with future uncertainties. And as a student of strategy, I've always been interested in this aspect. So if you look at these three concepts in totality and in conjunction, we can aim at enhancing competitiveness, cost effectiveness, regulatory preparedness, and customer loyalty, and so on. All very desirable objectives, and enhancing growth through agility and responsible innovation. Let me tell the students, my final message to the students. My dear students, you will be facing, after you graduate in a year or two, you will be facing a very different type of organization than, for example, I faced when I entered into organizations 45 years and 40 years ago. Today's organizations are highly complex, and face a lot more challenges and more varied challenges. And therefore, your jobs will be more challenging, and you will need to be conscious of uh, uh, and being aware of all these aspects, and not just of these aspects individually, but also having a sense of interconnectedness between these concepts. Don't take them as cliches. Sustainability is a buzzword. It's in danger of being a cliche, But don't look at that. Look at the essence of sustainability, its real worth, or innovation, which is not a new concept. Neither is resilience or associated longevity, and so on. So that was my message to the conference. Thank to the organizers and for making it possible for me to join the conference online. And thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing such practical examples and your viewpoint of looking at sustainability as future-proofing businesses, with sustainability as long-term value, resilience as strategic advantage, and innovation as a pathway to sustainability. Thank you, sir, once again for such a meaningful and impactful address. We now welcome Mr. Sunil Goyal, Deputy CEO of Sopra Steria India, whose leadership and expertise in digital transformation and operations offer us valuable insights into building resilient and future-ready enterprises. With over 3 decades of experience, he has been a trailblazer in IT and business leadership. From co-founding Momentum India to leading teams of 3,000 plus professionals at Sopra Steria, his contributions span strategy, people management, and digital innovation. Mr. Goyal has also served as co-chair of NASSCOM's Regional Council in Noida. Mr. Sunil Goyal, we are delighted to have you here with us today. May I request you to please address?
So very good morning to all of you, students, everyone, the faculty, and my fellow speakers. I know we are running late by 30 minutes, and 2 hours of constant speaking, obviously, it sets, tiredness and boredom. So let me see if I can try to complete as quickly as possible. Secondly, I mean, when you're the seventh speaker, obviously we have been taught agility, that go on changing, what you have to speak, because whatever has been spoken earlier, obviously I don't want to repeat it. So it's going to be extremely tough, but let me make an attempt. So thanks, Christ University, for inviting me, first of all. Now, this topic, as Dr. Shikha initially mentioned, that today it's not a choice. I think it is important that we follow it. And yesterday morning when I got up and saw Times of India, it had, the first page was written, climate change is taking away our kids' future, our childhood and our children. So it reminded me again that yes, today I have to be here and be talking about it. Earlier, one of the speakers spoke about the ESG, the environment, social governance. Again, I'll not go into the details, but I'll try to talk about what really we are doing at Sopra Steria. So first of all, I would say that yes, today we are trying to put in sustainability practices. I think innovation is still a step away for us. But what we have done in the last few years is try to put the governance piece in place. Today at a global level, we have a Chief Sustainability Officer. So it's a dedicated position which is there. And under her, she has various Chief Sustainability Officers in the different countries who are then responsible for ensuring the environmental piece, the social piece, and the governance. And obviously being an IT company, I mean, as we know today, we have obviously access to all the cloud technologies, the digital, everything is going there, which is a good part. But the other part of obviously is it is impacting the environment a lot, because the power which is required, the energy which is required is humongous. And today with AI coming in, where we don't realize, but one single small command which we give, the kind of CPU power it takes up, the kind of energy which is required to power them up. And this is not going to decrease, it's only going to increase. So that is where a couple of, 2 years back, we also established a position which was called the Digital Sustainability Officer, which was responsible for ensuring that how do we bring in the sustainability practices for our own IT usage, because today with the storage number of emails which get stored, I mean, you'll be surprised when you check that one single email which you send or one single email which is stored, the amount of space it takes up and the energy which it gets consumed. So we have the DSO who is responsible to ensure that how we continuously educate, train our own people on that, and how do we ensure that, yes, some of those aspects we're able to meet. In addition to this, we then established a green IT practice at Sopra Steria, which is at a global level, and it is practiced in all countries, where when we propose solutions to our customers, we try to see that, yes, it's just not the technical aspect which gets done, but it's also that how it can help in terms of ensuring the part on the environment and energy. And we obviously have then considered a lot of dashboards and everything related to it. So for us today, the digital sustainability is a huge thing, both for us, our internal and as well as for external. On the social side, very quickly, I can just say, obviously today the government of India has made compulsory for us to spend 2% of our funds on the social side. But what we are focusing as an organization is 90% of our funds go for education, where we are associated with more than 48 schools across 4 cities in India, where we are impacting 55,000 children every year. And within that, obviously, in addition to providing infrastructure to schools, which is in terms of solar panels, drinking water, and other things, but it's also to take care of the students in terms of providing them with digital labs and things like that. And in addition to this, what we do every year is also we take 100 students who have completed their class 12th and are going for their further education, where they find it difficult to fund it. Obviously, we have other scholarship schemes, but Sopra Steria takes care of around 100 students every year, where we give 40,000 to 60,000 scholarship based on both merit cum means. So obviously, they go through a big interview process, and we select them and enable them to complete their graduation. So today we have already impacted more than 2,000 students in the last few years, and this is something which we are going to continue. In addition to this, what we started doing 3-4 years back, because earlier someone spoke about the social aspect. And today we have a lot of engineering graduates who are coming out who've come from the lowest of the economic society, but they're not able to get jobs because maybe their communication skills are not good, or they lack certain technical skills. And obviously they don't have the requisite, they don't know people in the industry. So we started in a small way where we started taking 5 to 7 students every year who come from the lowest economic society. Maybe their parents are earning 20,000 rupees a month or lesser than that. And we take them, we give them a 1-year mentorship stipend where we pay them 15,000 rupees a month, associate a mentor who enables them on soft skills and also then enables them on the technical skills. And after 12 months, then we have the first right of refusal to take them, because then they go through an interview process. And if we hire them, then obviously they have to stay with us for 3 years. And after 3 years, then they can go and join. I'll just give you 2 or 3 examples. One person who joined us in 2014, his father was a supervisor on a shop floor, earning less than 25,000 rupees a month. He completed the stipend at our place, then worked with us for 4 years. Today he's working at American Express Bank and drawing more than 55 lakhs per annum. There's another person whose mother is selling milk. Still she sells milk in Alwar. Maybe her income is 1 lakh rupee a year. And this girl had done her MCA, came to us through obviously a reference. Again, went through the process. She worked with me for 3-4 years, then left, and now she works with a company in Noida only, where she's drawing more than 35-40 lakhs rupees per annum. And this is something which is unthinkable for that society, for people. Obviously, when you change one person like this, then you've changed a complete generation, because then obviously it rolls on it. And then there are a number of other examples. Our security guard whose son has done this, our electrician son who's done this, and so on and so forth. So there are 40, 45, the number may be small, but obviously the cascading impact which it can have is huge. This is the last thing to just touch upon it, obviously because of time shortage. We were talking about the environment aspect, reusability, and as Dr. Punita mentioned about our ancient system, etc. In fact, the example she gave, actually, I wanted to give, but there's been already spoken about. But just talking about the circular economy, which is the one which is there, there are 7 R's which we need to practice. I will not go into the details, but the 7 R's is rethink. Whenever you want to buy something, just think whether you require it or not, or whether you can do without it. Reuse, we've already spoken about it. Refuse, reduce, repair, re-give, and obviously recycle. I think I'm just quickly going through these 7 R's, but yes, these are the things which obviously can definitely help us in terms of achieving our objectives of the environmental sustainability for the future generation, and definitely that's our responsibility. So thank you very much, and wishing all the best for the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goel, for sharing your thoughts and practices adopted by your organization, focusing on social and environmental aspects to ensure sustainability in business and HR practices. Thank you so much, sir. We express our heartfelt thanks to all our speakers for their wisdom, passion, and contributions to this global dialogue. Thank you once again to all our eminent speakers for their powerful words and visionary insights. With this, I would now like to request our Dean, Dr. Jean Paulos ma'am, Conference Convener, Dr. Pankaj Dhondial, and Dr. Ramji, to kindly come forward and present mementos to our keynote speakers as token of gratitude. May I request you? I would request ma'am to please present memento to Dr. S.P. Sharma. I would request Mr. Sunil Goel, sir. Would request Dr. Hebitala Adam, ma'am. Would request Dr. Rajiv Thakur, sir. Would request Dr. Punita Duhan, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. It's now time to unveil the conference proceedings book, a remarkable testament to months of diligent research, careful review, and seamless collaboration. We are proud to announce that it is now officially published and carries an ISBN. I request all the core members of the conference organizing committee to please come up on stage for the book release. Thank you all. Now I would like to invite conference convener Dr. Ramji to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning. Father Jose CC, Vice Chancellor, Christ University. Reverend Father Biju P, Pro Vice Chancellor, Christ University. Reverend Father Peter MB, Campus Administrator. Dr. Jean Paulus, Dean, Christ University. Dignitaries on the dais. Dear participants, scholars from diverse tracks and research enthusiasts. As we approach the conclusion of the inaugural session of the ICSSR sponsored second international conference on sustainable business practices and innovative models 2025. It is my honor and privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing committee. First and foremost, I would like to thank God Almighty for bestowing upon us His blessings and making this event a resounding success. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Father Peter MB, Dr. Jean Paulus, and to our esteemed keynote speakers, Dr. Hebatullah Adam, Professor Azhar Kazmi, Dr. Rajiv Thakur, Dr. S.P. Sharma, Mr. Sunil Goyal, Dr. Vinaytos Misra, Ms. Punita Duhan, whose presence and contributions have truly elevated this conference. Your insights and expertise have been invaluable, offering thought-provoking ideas and groundbreaking perspective toward building a more sustainable and innovative future. To the registered participants who joined us from various parts of the world, thank you for your enthusiasm and active engagement. Your presence today has truly transformed this conference into a true celebration of collaboration and learning. A special note of appreciation to the organizers, volunteers, and support team of this conference who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure the seamless execution of this event. In particular, I would like to acknowledge the IT and auditorium management team, the conference volunteering body, and CDL for providing the necessary facilities and support to make this session a success. We also extend our sincere gratitude to all our respected faculty members for their unwavering support and guidance throughout the planning and execution of this event. Last but not the least, to our sponsors, GMA, Happy Happenings, Froyo Technologies, GrassTech, Hamdard, Nestle India, and our academic partners, Kazan University, Russia, Gulf Medical University, UAE, PhD Chamber of Commerce and Trade, and ICSSR, Indian Council for Social Science Research. We are deeply grateful for your generous support and belief in our vision. Finally, I would like to thank you, dear Christite, for being such a wonderful and engaging audience. As we embark on this two-day journey together, let us carry forward the knowledge shared today and strive to implement sustainable and innovative practices in our respective fields. Thank you all for being here, and we wish you a productive and fulfilling day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramji. As we come to the close of this memorable event, let us all rise for the Christ anthem.
With excellence our goal, we walk the wheel of time, striving for the greatest in body, heart, and mind. The flame we hold aloft, a beacon shining bright, leading by example, where darkness we bring light. Our march on, Christ, march on. So this is our motto as we strive to change the world. We sing the book of knowledge as life begins to unfold. As we go through life, the star of hemlock guide. And though we change with time, the Christ-like spirits abide. March on, Christ-like, march on, with hands held high and hearts so strong. March on, Christ-like, march on, with a steady tread and a cheerful song. March on, Christ-like, march on.
Thank you all. With this, we conclude the inaugural session of the ICSSR-sponsored Second International Conference on Sustainable Business Practices and Innovative Models. Thank you all for joining us for the inaugural session. Let the conversations begin, let the learning deepen, and let the change unfold. This is Dr. Shikha Arora signing off from the inaugural session. I wish each one of you a meaningful and fruitful deliberation over the next 2 days. May this conference be a catalyst for new ideas, enduring collaborations, and impactful change. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead. All the esteemed guests and faculty members are requested to assemble at the Block B entrance for a group photograph and then proceed to the banquet hall, Block A for high tea. All the students are requested to stay back till the dignitaries leave the auditorium. All the students are required to join the presentation tracks at the respective venues around 12. Thank you. Students may leave and join the respective tracks around 12 at the assigned venues.